stuck on zone line. The only people at the center of the zone right now are the people who started there.
This is it. It is about a minute until zone closes here. And where zone 5 goes, that's going to be huge considering Logjam has been in this entire time. So you know Kirachi has been vibing, and he did get some good storm surge to offset his fall there. The question is, will he have the beams as well? You've seen Jackie come out from Caddy Corner in their hand position. You see Fast there, who's been all over looking for storm surge, only down to a duo. Now you have Candy setting Teak now, and better pastures on their own tarp. And look, no neighboring people. So when it gets to that 50-man surge, I think they're going to be a lot better on it. But the question is, we already saw them on the borderline. They need to get tabs right here. They need to be aggressive and open up those edits and make sure they get those beams.
Yeah, the win condition right now for Sunny Teak. Cammy's just staying above surge. If they survive, they can play so well all the way towards the end. They're always consistent. They should be below when the update comes in. They need to land a few shots here or there. Sancho, absolutely correct. The other big thing too with this zone, I mean, it'll happen in about 2 once you start moving, but so many teams, you mentioned it, like Kiriachis, have been sitting still. Even Sunny Team, they haven't moved around that much. Everyone has so many mats, and with trees kind of separating low ground and high ground, you can see it the whole way through. If this zone goes straight into the forest, there should be so many different fights for height. Kiriachi has so many mats left. Savage has barely even used any. All these bases have just been sat in the entire time. Everyone is waiting to be the king of this lobby.
Every time we drone over to Aqua, this Tayson is always at their feet. This is always happening, and they're always jockeying for position. You have Nebs right there as well, kind of trying to assess you with those metal ramps. And of course, you have Kirachi, who's been on the high ground this entire moments here when moving into the end game. But Deal Aqua and Noah Riley are in 3rd place right now, really consistent.
Yeah, and you can see the battle between 2 big bases. Who's going to the high speed? Wow. Mistake from Vidil, but he has that medkit, he has the minis to get back. It's this trio and Kiriachis in the distance that have the highest bases at the same elevation.
Vidil has Fireflies, and you know he's going to be ready to use that to take that high if he needs to.
Yeah, he can set the force.
Oh, no!
But there's a trio here. Splash actually jumps up. Where was Aqua? What happened? The Aqua's on the backside. Noah Riley distracted. The entire trio gets just completely fractured.
It was all of a sudden a flank from the backside there from Mawaka and Splash and Co. And they're able to take away this high ground advantage, but it doesn't matter. Zone 5 goes south here. But right now, our 3rd place team is in shambles, and they were already below surge here. And this might be it. The swan song is over for them temporarily, but Splash and Mawaka and Koro put a huge wrench in those plans here. But all this structure here has to move and rotate, and they have to go down south, and that just means Kirachi has the advantage, but also Nebs as well, as you see, are now going to rotate around. I like what Benji, Joe, and Shadow are doing. Last time at this moment, they were start cranking up to height or like ramping up to height, but electing right now to stay on the ground, which Benji has a lot of experience being a low ground fighter.
Benji low ground is a very, very fun thing to watch. Nebs, Pink, and Stompy is honestly, though, the highlight of the day. They're not even at
highlight
yet.
of
They're
the
gonna
year.
Survive. That's actually up for contention. There have been some crazy plays. That one was nuts. No mountain for them to climb, though. They're going to actually have to just stay on top of the entire server. First place is where Pink, Nebs, and Stompy are. Kiriachi in 2nd. First on low, 2nd all the way on height, and 3rd we just saw fall. So it'll be a battle of 2 Titan trios looking to take that lead.
I spy with my little eye that Kirachi structure only be held not that strong. It's like about 4 boxes there that are holding them. It's all made out of brick. So if someone wants to chop it, they can.
I mean, we've seen the pattern so far at endgames. No one should be staying on their first base from the 5th zone. They always launch off. They go all the way to where the zone's moving. I think Kiriachi's learned that by now. So unless they want to stay there and lose height, we will see in just a little bit.
Here we go. Here it's about to get to first moving, and it goes back up north.
Up north, and Hen, Janice Chapmix. Looks like Hen might take a lot of damage, maybe be knocked, picked back up. But Splash is really putting on the pressure.
Now everybody's got to move out here, and all those people that have that advantage or high ground are going to have to rotate out here in about 10 seconds. The storm is about to push everyone out of this area completely. Nebs, Pink, and Stompy now have 3 eliminations. So even though if they go down, they're about to cross into the placement threshold, and it could be one of those matches that you need if you're holding on to first place. Just don't go down at this point here. Try to get to the top 10, and this will be definitely a W of a game. One of those moral victories here as it go for the pad.
Kiriachi all the way on height. Nebs flies right by. This is the perspective of your first place team holding onto the lead. Still, long game to be played. Kiriachi moving all the way across. They've given up that base completely. Actually, they've expanded it and connected it. Shadow's going all the way towards the top, and Jetta actually flies by. Joe is in control at the cost of Benji Fishy's shield. Kiriachi has to give things up. I mean, it's no different than what we've been seeing before, but they actually go all the way to second height, not battling with Hen. Things are getting crazy, kind of claustrophobic for every single team. Not enough builds either. This high ground is just extended the whole way through. They're still fighting for it. Kiriachi does not want to let down.
There's not a lot of air up here. It's getting thin because there's so many trios up here taking up all the oxygen. And Joe, Benji, and Shadow here are breathing the finest, purest air at the moment. But look at Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky getting in position.
That is a very sneaky play, and they go for the launch pad too. Nebs, Pink, Stompy, so smart. They're letting all these trios fight. Have at it. Go for height. We'll play the placement. We'll wait for the game to come to us.
There it is, Jerky. There you talk about the position, but Kiriachi responds. And storming right to Kiriachi, who have been waiting and holding on the height, send beams down Queasy way and push him off the pedestal that is this height right now. Kiriachi, Tucson storming right here with some great games, 3 eliminations. Look at this high pad there. Trulix, oh my goodness, we take to the skies, and now we go back to height again. But Trulix is still up there, and he's getting beamed. Can he find his connections? No, he doesn't, but someone else is coming up. Here it is. Jerky's coming back again.
This pinch is absolutely astronomical in the skies. It's Trulix with a distraction. Kiriachi finally goes down. Queasy was not done. He kept track of his teammates. Now it's a 2v2. Too Stormy right. Too slow on HP. No shields. Drop down below. Stormy alone all the way next to the clouds. Can he survive? He's going to be taken down a little bit. Looks like Jerky also goes. Benji's in his box. Benji deleted. Tack shots. They also not enough to actually keep Toos alive. Trulix and Queasy will have it, but it's only 2 players to control high ground.
It looks like Shadow's gonna have to go solo. Hen, who's been a solo for a very long time, is still on his feet, and Alex Vino getting some eliminations in the feed. Hottie, Elocrest, and Tripper, who had a great day 1, could take height, and they are looking for it right now with the chop right there against Trulix. Decepto's here on the other side.
The 5th height retake. We're watching this game.
There it is.
And Tripper, Elocrest, and Hottie get it for free. And no way, gets bopped by Savage on low ground. He has his home too, so he has the entire control of the low ground hemisphere. Shadow's trying to work it too. There's a little bit of a split from Shadow and his teammates. It's Savage as a solo in Weeping Woods. You've seen this before, but not this bad. 34 HP. He might not have enough to tank and deal the damage.
He might have enough there with the chug cannon just to do a little bit more. All he has to do is just continue to keep on ticking, keep on rocking, and hold out that wall. Going down to 1 build left here. Savage coming into this fight. He's doing so well. 7th place, slowly sliding out of the top 5 here. But this could be the moment here. Tayson gets eliminated by Splash and Moaka, who've been a nuisance all this day. Savage here is on the low ground. Pump out. No builds. Looking for those E-limbs. Doing his best, but no, gets beamed from high. But Reason is still on this fight at the very end of the day, but it is Hottie, Tripper, and Elocrest with the 6 eliminations and the victory royale. Man, hey, we remember we were seeing this trio come to form last season, and now what a great time to get a victory royale. It looks like everybody from that northeast side of the map is racking up VRs.
Yeah, 4th place overall rolls in on a 5th height retake that happened in that game. It was crazy. Kiriachi put up a very good fight, but that should shake out the boards a little bit, at least from 2nd all the way down to 10th. Very close game overall, and a nice textbook win from, you know, the God Squad.
Hey, it's what happens when you do a turn play in a tournament and it works for you. Everything's going to work for you here on out. Nice VR. We're going to go ahead and take it to Zeke, Levin, and Reese to break it all down.
Thank you guys so much. Game number 7 on the day, but game number 3 specifically of 8 for happening today specifically. My goodness, my words are about as jumbled as this last game was. Tripper and Elocrest, Hottie's 6 eliminations and the VR. But you know, guys, there was so much more happening. Andretta sitting on 6 eliminations by himself there. And then Reason getting to make it into the top 3. Once again, the victory royale is going to be super pivotal for these teams trying to claw their way back in a top 10, even top 5, right? But there's still all these other trios where you might not see exactly what they're doing, but they're operating in the shadows, right? They're trying to get these eliminations. They're trying to be consistent with that placement. And right now it's working for them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the big thing I think with Hoyt and Tripper is that yesterday, Reese, we were talking about how if there was going to be a day they would do good, it would have been yesterday, right? Like everything was setting up so perfectly. Finally, they're having that good performance we sort of talked about them potentially having.
Yeah, and that's really fantastic for them, right? We saw almost that game number 1 that they had the strategies down with the turret to blast them out of the sky, which looked super good. They were 7th off the top of my head on day number 1 overall. So from then so far, they are continuing that through. I think they're going to move up big time with that victory royale that they had there, because like I said, they've been super consistent throughout the games today as well. They had a 9th, a 10th, and now the 1st as well. So they've been looking super, super strong so far, and they're definitely a contender for the first place at this moment.
Yeah, I'd love to kind of talk about the team doing well in second place that started specifically today, okay? That's the Siptos' trio. They are looking pretty good right now, friends.
Yeah, they're looking really good. You can see they've actually got the most points today now, right? So they've now overtaken. So they're Floki commit to Siptos. You can see them on this west side of Misty. Yesterday, they were getting bullied by Andlex's team over here, but this is kind of the stuff that they have to deal with in the early game, right? Notice that Queasy has landed up on the Guardian Tower near where they're dropping, right? Which leaves Floki Clement and Siptos with barely any materials really that they can work with in terms of chest, sorry, because they only get 11 in that west side. So for them, they have to find out a path to get some form of loot, right? So you see them trying to rotate up to the north, and this is what they got to deal with. Queasy understands that they're going to take this rotate. He goes for the Storm Surge tags on them, and they're getting obliterated. This is already 50 of their shield gone at that moment too. But not only that, Art Skill goes with some absolute laser eyes from this distance, takes another 50 damage as they're rotating at the same time, and Andalex and X-Tweez are all focusing on them as they make this rotate. So given the circumstances that this team is currently in, that Floki, Clement, and Deceptos are in their early game, only having 11 chests, the fact that they have gained the most points today in the 3 games is absolutely outstanding in all honesty, and that has pushed them up into 7th when they were somewhere in the 10th till 20th range at the end of day number 1.
Yeah, actually, man, when you frame it like that and you see all the teams they're having to deal with, it is insane. But look, you can see Pink, Nebs, and Stompy sitting in first place with a 5-point lead, which isn't much, but it's a lead nonetheless. Hottie, Ella, Crass, and Trippin with that victory royale are now sitting in second as well. And Rescott and Jera and Mr. Savage we saw win a couple games ago in third, but it's still very fine margins towards the top. Still not much in it, and you know, with Vino tasting a reason, seeming to be in a bit of form now. Hendrix and Chapik still kicking it. A lot of the top contenders are finally starting to find a bit of a rhythm now, Reese.
Yeah, and definitely, you know, you already mentioned Vino's team as well. Like that's the big one, right? Where they were 13th. They were struggling really badly with Storm Surge yesterday in that first game. And then in the other ones, they just really weren't able to capitalize on the rest of them, right? They weren't able to get the big point games that they're known for. But now, the last 2 games, a 6th and then a 3rd. And the one before that, they were 10th as well. So the points that they've gained today have almost been more than they managed to obtain yesterday overall. Still with tons of games left remaining, which is crazy from them. Hen's still in it. Kiriachi's still in it. Refscar's still in it. Obviously, Hottie's team is doing super well alongside Pink as well. But if we move over to the next page, we're going to see those teams who now are going to have to speed up a little bit. City Kamiti being one of them.
Yeah, and as you can see, right, you know, there are some teams here on this page who, you know, you would expect maybe to be a bit higher. I think when you look at last game in particular, you know, Benji, Shadow, Joe, those guys, there was a stage where they took height. It seems like they're falling victim, right, of, you know, one of the many teams who looks to try and take height, but just isn't able to hold it well enough when it counts. And so they're struggling there. Queasy, Trudix, and Jurikyu probably feel the same, right? They've had their stretches in that period, but generally, things are starting to shape up how maybe you would have expected, right? A lot of the top dogs really getting involved, and it's making this finish a lot more interesting.
There's all these trios, man. I'm telling you, everyone has their eyes set on first place, and I like to see that. Now, remember, we have another 5 games to play. So a lot of these teams, as now they're warm, we're going to see some very big changes happen in these next several games. But there it is. You heard the battle bus, which means we got to jump back into game. Shy Wager, Sancho West. Let's do this one more time.
Thank you so much, Zeke. It is game 8, and we're getting the battle bus ready. And wow, Hottie, Elocrest, and Tripper, they're talking about a new name on the scene that's been developing. This is not a surprise to me. Is it a surprise to you, Shio, that they were able to rack up a victory royale here in this final stage?
I think it was inevitable. I didn't expect it this kind of early. I thought it'd be kind of later, but they've been trying for it, you know, every single day from Qualls to, you know, this point now, getting that win, upsetting height. It finally happened, and it might again.
Yeah, and this is what we was talking about. Tayson was going toe-to-toe against Elocrast during the last season. We're just seeing what kind of moxie that trio has in Tripper there. And they've been doing really well third party into Steamy Stacks. But here we go. This is basically as if we're getting into it. We still have so many games left to go. So nothing is guaranteed. Do not write this game off. There's no champion yet that is going to be in the running. I mean, this is what's so exciting, that so many people are close. And hey, we already seen a big 50 bomb throw down by Aqua's trio. So all it takes is a huge pop-off game, double digits, and the victory round. And we're just seeing right here, it is possible, as Buzz, who did make it to in-game, now goes down to Psy, which it looks like to me, it looks like Psy's trio has moved somewhere else.
Looks like Trippin and Elocrast might be forced to move into not the land of the living in a second. Barely even landed yet. Being down to 99 and 50 HP respectively. They're gonna have a rude awakening to the start of this game. Meanwhile, Stompy, Nebs, they're gonna be rolling. Falcon Lee, ZQ here too. Kezek still alive. Not sure if these trios will collide. They do. Falcon Lee, Nebs gonna be the first points of engagement. All three players from both sides ready to fight for the 8th time in the finals.
You just got to hold your breath every time. And what's been happening, though, when Falcon wins this engagement, Shayo, is that they get pushed out into the open. But like you mentioned, if Nebs, Pink, and Stompy could hunker down, go into these basements, make it where it's not worth fighting, then they can survive. But just look at this. This is the pressure that they're feeling right now. They're electing to go ahead and disengage because they know what's at stake, because they're sitting in first place by only 5 points, because Hottie, Elocrast, and Tripper right there, they're going to be able to stay on their feet. We've been seeing them get to in-game. What was that stat? They were there in the top 10 multiple times already here in the finals?
Yeah, when it comes to Stompy, he's just used to winning games entirely. When it comes to the entire trio on both sides, you know, they're both looking to survive towards the end. Even here, it's kind of the same scenario of contestation over 8 games, but the difference is I don't think anyone here, all 6 players out of all of them, want to disengage.
It feels like it's cooled down a bit. It's cooled down a bit. They're being measured here. That's what you're seeing here. The intensity is getting up here. Again, this would be technically the second game here of day 2, but we've been going at it for a while here. And and Shredder gets greeted with the parting gift right there, and that's gonna give the Malibu Cuz trio happy right now, because we just got a huge Storm Surge tag. We're just gonna keep rolling out.
Yeah, they want to be careful, because I think this is where Hottie and his entire trio that won the last game like the third party as well when they hear that fight happening, especially when zone is kind of further away. So a good identification there for Malibuca to be able to just break away, go all the way towards the zone. I see that green arrow on the beach on the bottom right of your screen, very close. They look forward, see no shots really firing. I don't think Hottie will come through towards Steamy this time. That being said, Savage gets to play, and on the other side, the Loot Boys don't. Zestin taken out. Exterios is looking for the next shot too. Hydro might be in a little bit of trouble.
I gotta wonder here. Looks like this kind of corny complex has pushed Red Rush outside to mid-map, and that's into the chaotic arms of Hydros and the Loot Boy Co trio. Now Hydro and Backby have to operate as a duo here. They're getting beams here from the people up there on that Defiant dish here, but Hydro, Backby, and Zestin, they're getting to mid-game here. They're doing really well, but it is these risky engagements that they're taking that, as you mentioned here, instigating, causing chaos against people who just want to rotate. They just want to get tagged, they want to rotate, but the Loot Boys are here to fight.
They want to get that surge done. Might come at a cost of a teammate, but they do have Zestin's card right now, so they can't go overboard with an Exterios. Hydro must have forgotten about the box fight he was doing right below his current lair. He gets a big tag, tries to get the whole way away, but Hydro drops down the last one in his trio. He gets deleted.
And there's so much pressure coming from those mountain ranges. He went down for the...
Ragazzi, eccomi. Ma se n'è andato Matteo, boh, avrà spento.
A little bit more of adjustments are happening. Mappy, Asterios, and Red Rush, I don't know. I gotta take a look here. Is Benji still up on his feet? It looks like so far, yes. Yes, he does get a knock against Sean. So Benji has been doing really well. And Z-Andy and Chastity here, they're here to fight against Benji. But Benji's been having 20 complexes locked down in the entire final.
Really have. Sean VP, though. I mean, they've kind of been making endgame out of this POI, outside of it a little bit as well. We'll be seeing a little bit of that power away from Benji for now. Looking at this the whole game to this zone. Central, again, anything could really happen when it comes to center type zones that have Pleasant, Corny, Weeping, Boney in them. It's just kind of a game of control, and a lot of people get to play at the same time. Hype switches hands like we just saw at Weeping. You see a lot of people mid-game getting into trouble in a lot of fights because they're battling for mountains, battling for position.
And this is zone 1. It is centered here. So if you're Genesis and Chapix fans, they're up here. They've been making these rotations that goes all the way towards the dirty dock side, and they kind of hook into. But every time they do that, yeah, they've been getting a lot of eliminations, and that's why they were averaging the most after day 1. But it really cost them their placement that they're known for. And that is a trio that's just slowly there. They're looming. They're in the shadows. They're in 6th place coming into game 8. And you're just waiting for it because, again, one pop-off game and you're there. There's the people on top of the board. They're being contested. Who knows? Hottie, Elecras, and Tripper could get dunked on at Dinky Dish, or maybe they go for a third party. Revscar being contested at their Steamy Stacks. Kirachi may be contested with 7. So the opportunity is there for Genesis and Chapix to win another FNCS championship.
Definitely is, but they have to put in the work to get all the way back towards that top side. 6th place currently right now. They have a lot to do in terms of jumping into first. They have to be even more consistent than they are right now. For Pink to hold on to 186 points, that 10-15 point lead reduced to now just 5 ahead of Hottie, Elocrats, and Tripper. They're going to be going right past Rito Row a little bit, attracting the attention of Miknup, who must have won, and the entire trio eats another sniper rifle shot. Before it was Stompy, this time it's Pink. They don't have that many chests to work off of because, remember, they disengaged, they never even won the entire fight. So all the damage they take, it'll actually hurt a lot more comparatively to other trios.
And Sai's trio has decided to go from Rito Row over to that Defiant Dish where Ingram is. Ingram has not been doing well when he's contested. We've seen this time and time and again, even in the qualifiers and semifinals. So they're going to have a little bit more power against Stompies, as you mentioned, because they kind of retreated. They've disengaged here, so this is a crucial juncture for this trio here. They want to hold on to that number 1 spot.
That's still 4 games to go after this. We'll have to hold on for a long time.
Just hold on. They would just want to go home. You know what I mean? Just hold on. They want to go home. That's what they want.
Reason, Taste, and Vino, I feel like this is the biggest surprise of the day overall. We were expecting a lot more domination, a lot more, I don't know, loudness in the conversation when it comes to playing for hype, when it comes to being active at endgame, but
Now, quickly before, you mentioned Vino, Tastin, and Reason, right? They are at least, they're turning it around. Past 2 games, 6th place and 3rd place. So, hey, they're putting it together. They got about 94 points. They're doing a lot better than day 1.
Usually ramping up for something good. The only issue I have with that team right now is they don't have, like, you know, that big power game coming in. They've kind of been just in the shadows. They're picking up a lot of the scraps overall, but winning you feels like you might have to have, you know, that one victory royale that really gets you all the way up in the lead. I don't think by stopping entirely, we'll see the slump right here. Obviously the knock, they'll shift here, have a little bit of an idea to see where people are. It was Pink. Now picking up might be hunted down in these builds.
What a great response, though. They were in a tough spot. They were hunkered down in their builds and metal, retreating, but with the power, I believe they have that chuck that they were able to respond to the back of their fighting health here. So go to the edit through, trying to push through, and yes, pushes him right into his teammate's hands there. Pink cleans up that engage as well. It was so funny, you know, again, I was going to social media to see what Santi would say, and Pink responds, I helped carry him there. So that's what you love to see, teammates going back and forth and having fun with it all. But right now, we talked about it, that ultimate third party, now it's just went through these rotations. exciting. Benji's great run in that opening qualifier had a lot to do with the Parasites. Remember, they were a lot stronger. Now they're balanced, and a lot of their movement and a lot of their plays that they made in those box fights were because of the Parasites' strength. So it'll be interesting to see if Benji could kind of get back into form without that advantage.
It'll be interesting to see if this is also going to be a swing game for Vidil and O'Reilly Aqua. Although they've been, you know, somewhat consistent the entire day when it comes to getting towards the top. Even yesterday, playing very good games, having wins. Thing is, sometimes if they're not going for those wins, they barely even get points in the games they missed out, right? In the games they don't have power. Yes. So this next swing game that comes in, they're going to have control of high ground entirely, not be lost to the zone. Everyone has to make it in, plus Surge. It will be difficult. When it comes to Savage, though, first EU team with a victory royale after rebooting a player. So a lot of the times when, you know, one person goes down, sometimes two people clutch it out. Never really get a teammate back and then winning a game entirely. Savage has done it. New form, and it's looking good.
Tayson's picked up a trio wipe in the feed right now, but now we're going to go back into Noah Riley, Vidil, and Aqua, as you were mentioning here. And they might be swinging in a direction that they don't want to, considering in the previous 3 games, 24th, 11th place, and 20th place, and not a lot of points. And Vidil is knocked right there. He gets picked back up with very few HP in his bank right now. Oh no! Oh no! Where did I think that was glide? Was that a glide through? I heard a glider for a brief second, and the hole was open, and they went down the chimney. And it's not Santa Claus giving out gifts; it's pain that's being dished out.
Fuck!
I don't think Aqua even planned for that. I just wanted to retake. Absolutely perfect timing.
Porca puttana, Sally! Porca puttana!
Something to do to kind of get right back into the game. Only 2 players. The reboot won't be anywhere close by either. I mean, free for Aqua though. I was about to say with the Vidil box, right? That is a chick with it.
Affanculo, merda! Ah! Porca troia! Aspetta. Proprio mio. No,
and Jettis Chadwicks are waiting to see exactly what the move will be here. I tag up this trio as they go across and try to get towards a certain point. We'll have to go right by a river, bridge where Drill's probably held up, farming a lot of metal. We see one over there, we're not sure exactly who it is. Surge won't be that big of a problem either with 71 players here. So everyone gets to play their zone. Wings and full net right below them. Elder, Vidil, this fight's actually going straight towards the very end now. Lots of shield loss on Noah Riley and Aqua's side. It's a 2v3, and they're still having trouble just confirming this fight.
Haymakers are just going back and forth on all sides of the map right here. This is kind of the same situation that we were on board with Revscard here. Always on height, has the man advantage against Rotary. And Elder now is on the back foot. Elder goes down. Rotary now is just being barreled, stuffed, and out. It was really solid work there. Oh, there it is. Elder says, pow, surprise. But Vidil, no scare tactics here. This man does not get afraid in the scary movie.
That's the first signs of life from this trio when it comes to mid-game. Past that for everyone else, they're finally getting active, getting moving. All the way a second zone starts to close. Is that another player right above Savage on the backside of Solo, just waiting for him to move? There's no way these guys have to go through every single trap in the game to just make it past, you know, that mid-game portion. Revscard too, he doesn't have these inflatables to really move around. He's gonna be kind of in trouble, worried. Guys, please don't leave me behind. Wings and full net, they're trying to take me. It's all good though. They make it to a house, they get to refresh a little bit and then move on.
I'm getting deja vu, man. Last season, this is where Savage and Resguard and Dredda, they had that day 2 thing where the rotations just got a lot stickier as it was getting closer and closer to the final frame of game 12. Right now, they're still navigating, still some very close moments for Savage, Resguard, and Dredda. I think they saw at least 4 or 5 trios sitting up there in that battle. So, hey, that's what's going to have to take there. You're going to have to move on through. They're currently sitting on top 3, and now we're on board with number 8 here, going to glide through, and they're going to go right past the neighborhood of the Kiriachi, who's now slid down to 4th place, who's been in first for a long time in this set of games.
I'm wondering, how did Aqua, how did Savage, when the zone was all the way and weeping, get such a, good priority? And then once it's center, once it's closer to their POI, almost near Steamy, they're having trouble rotating in.
It's true. I mean, the disengage is happening. The third parties, we talked about it, those home zones, that gives open, like the secondary zones end up getting taken out by other trios.
Absolutely, and these
Porca troia, raga.
relationships between trios are also forming. You just saw it on screen right there, Aqua versus Toos. These guys have been side by side the entire day. We talked about it a little bit on top of show, but somehow landing on opposite sides kind of each other, they still find a way to meet up, battle for the same positions, go for height overall. Both have had experience being almost in first place when it comes to Aqua's standard, and Kiriachi before was in first.
Oh, fuck.
Now they're kind of closer to each other. Kiriachi 4th place overall, Aqua 8th. The same basis side by side. Safik though just got picked up. Service catching up. Look at the HP soon. There it is. And the mech kit popped off. Default's to be affected. Their fighter is down for now, but this duo can still clutch it up.
You talked about people being close to each other, and then Safik and definitely Malibuka are going to get a lot closer, because I think Malibuka is making adjustments and pushing towards that Dirty Docks area, considering that he is being pushed out as Steamy stacks there. There goes the launch pad. They're going to glide on through. Hopefully no eyes are looking their way. Now you talked about the fighter default out, so it's up to Safik and Putrick to get closer into the zone. What a great glide. No tags their way, and they're going to have the ability to walk on through. There is a little bit of pressure there, but here it is. All eyes are right now on Hottie, Tripper, and Elocrast, the ultimate third party, the instigators here, feeling the pressure and feeling the burn now. And this is what happens when you're sitting on top of the board of the FNCS. It gets a little hot.
They're right now in maximum overdrive, top 10 in the last 6 games. That. And at the same time, the biggest thing is that they're taking out all these kind of, it seems like newbie third parties coming in. They're kind of sure if they want to maybe affect other trios. They want to take a few shots. Indecisive. Hottie, Tripper, Nero Class, they come in. They know how to third party to take them out, take their position. Now they're the ones bullying Mr. Savage.
I always love metaphors in motion, and the fire was at their feet, and they doused it out with a chug cannon, but they have to deal with Storm Surge, considering that they're below it. Now we're on board here with Safik here, who's been in the scrum here. No, Storm Surge not acting at the front door, but they could be easily be eliminated as a knock from Noah Riley comes to V7 Tor and gets a full trio wipe against Haluka. There, Safik has been eliminated. That is your 9th place team going to this fight. And it looks like Savage gets knocked by Hottie. It's been a long time coming, but now Hottie gets traded out.
Yeah, it's going to be Vino, Tayson on the backside. They're paying attention to every third party now, trying to get their foot inside this entire 12-game series, and Refsguard's taken out too. So, I was calling it. Elocrats, they like to push the pressure. They want to get serious with the third party. They started the fight though, and it's Tayson actually that has the advantage and cleans everything up.
That's 2 and 3 ousted right then and there, and Tayson is going to have the spoils of all the loot, gets rewarded a chug cannon. And hey, one of the famous sound bites in video game history, they're heating up at the right time.
Yeah, we'll see. Vino, Tayson, Reason now overtaking and possibly right close to Kiriachi in 4th place. Pink Neb Stompy all the way up in first. Also looking, this is going to be the perfect game for them to further their lead. Have to deal with Aqua, that was on a very good side of the zone right now. Trixie, this is not going to be early game. You can't just roll up with a pad on trios, get some free points. As a solo, it's tough. Hengen and Chapix, though, they've been looking really, really good this game. Slightly deceitful, too, right now. They have to try to stay invisible as Hen goes back and forth, gliding by. Low cost to actually live, though. A lot of the times people get knocked and then revived. He looks to just get in with 56 HP. Genesis and Chapix should help him out with his pressure. Found, I think he kind of took the wrong plane to get here, Sancho. He's by himself.
Hen's been in this lane before. We've seen Hen who gets lost and gets separated from his teammates. Now they kind of get all back together, and this is what we're talking about. They operate really strong as a trio, but even if they lose a duo, they go down to the solo, they do very well here, and they have the ability to get those impact placement points here. But we're getting into the end game, and the big names are making an appearance here. Tayson, Vino, and Reason have 5 eliminations walking into, and they have about a mid pool that they go to get the front side of the first moving in Zone 6.
There are also 2 of the most active trios on the map that have had a lot of information and a lot to say in third parties. Yeah, Tayson, Vino, Reason, that's one. The second, I feel like, is going to be Hen, Janice, Chapix, who's just been looking for any type of play to make the entire time. The other side of the coin, though, the passive ones who've just kind of been waiting on height. They're not roaming around on low ground looking for third parties. It's Kiriachi, it's Aqua. They're just waiting to see exactly what they can do. Stompy is also in the fold somewhere. Tayson, Vino, Reason, though, they got to fly. Information aside, it's time to play the game.
All right, there's the Storm Surge, and there it is. Everyone's flying over, trying to get to the front side. Janice is there on the front side. Diablo is up there, but hey, Queasy Jerky are still up on their feet, and Vidil gets eliminated by Karma. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to see if that is going to be a full wipe from them. Now Noah Riley goes down. Stompy gets knocked. That's not going to be good news for them. That's going to be a good opportunity for Tayson, Vino, and Reason to move up the board quickly.
Beef in the Storm looks like they were not able to catch the pad for this rotation, so first place is down. Now Kiriachi, Tayson, Vino, Chapix, and everyone that was waiting in the fold is looking to have a seat at that top 3 table.
This is it. It's time to eat. The dinner bell has been rung. This is your time to get fed and get your stomach full of Tayson, Vino, Reason. We've been waiting this entire day, this entire weekend, for you to show up. And right now, you are showing up at the right time. But Cammy City, who have been all around in the business, are now in the front side, going on to the dead side rotation. But Nebs, Stompy, and Pink, now Nebs and Pink are working as a duo. And this is it, Pink. You're going to carry this to it. You can do it right here. And this will be the first match to get some great eliminations.
I thought that Nevs and Pink might have been out for the count, but they're actually still alive. So first place is still working on big defense. Everyone else has to hold on for the moment. Nevs now with 2 elims. Stompy clutched out 1 game for the whole team. Pink had a very good supporting play, and Nevs did the revive, but now it's up to the duo that didn't get any of those elims all the way back 2 games ago. Can they clutch it out and keep that lead at a very big distance?
Cheek and Chapix clash on the low ground right there. They're both on opposite sides of the low ground. Again, Jerky, Trulix, and Queasy sitting up the high ground, but we have all our eyes on Tayson and Pink's trios.
Oh
both of them doing oh well. Oh my goodness, Tayson. You almost put that man in a highlight. Matzo just avoids being clipped, and now Tayson has a taste, and he's going to go down and keep pushing towards the low ground. I like it. He's cutting off a lot of people, but he may have taken a big bite right there and gets clapped out of the lobby. Down in.
Addio, è stato bello. Raga, io vado, bella, io esco. Ma dai, giostra, bella raga.